All right. Hi, I'm Sean Suchter. I'm the Director of Engineering for Istio at Google. I'm going to talk about Istio adoption journeys, if this will go. Can you do it? So folks here, of course, know what Istio is. We were pleased to see that happens to be the #4 fastest growing GitHub project according to GitHub, so we thought that was cool. How do I make this easier to, it's IR, not RF. Yeah, we'll see. So I'm not going to do a tech talk in 5 minutes. Instead, I am going to talk about some typical ways that people adopt Istio through a series of unfortunate events. So here we go. So start February, your pager goes off, some service is throwing errors. What do you do? So you start looking at what changed recently. You start looking at all the logs. You generally start poking around to try to find the root cause of your complex set of services that make up everything that's in production. Wouldn't it be nicer if something could just show you what's failing, right? So of course this is exactly one of the things that Istio lets you do. Right? You can see exactly what in your infrastructure is throwing the errors. There's an example dashboard, shows you where the errors are. You can actually set SLOs and get things to page you when there's a problem right here, not overall. There's a bunch of deployments. I'm not going to call them out, but there's lots of different people who use this stuff. And the next month, the CSO comes to you and says, I've heard that we don't just need to have a hard outer shell. We actually need defense in depth, and we need to encrypt everything. Well, I guess we're going to have to look at every single app and see if any of them are sending any unencrypted traffic. Well, no, we can do a little better than that. Of course, Istio supports MTLS. We can encrypt traffic from every single app, whether they use HTTP, HTTPS, gRPC, TCP, whatever you can imagine. CSO loves that, but then they come back the next month and they say, well, that sounds great, but I've actually heard that that's only as good as your certificates. How do you actually pay attention to what keys you've got? Well, it's great, actually. The Istio Citadel and Envoy interaction support auto regeneration and rotation of your keys frequently without actually any traffic interruption. You want to see more CSDS. So that's all good. And your developers are great at security. The developer comes and says, well, maybe I shouldn't have put /admin on the public internet. Can we do something about that? No problem. Let's block that at ingress. So you can actually do RBAC, role-based access control, and you can do rules on lots of different things, namespace, services, and actually methods like /admin. You can do, you have role-based semantics. These can actually be very flexible. You can do things like, hey, let's block things or let's allow things based on custom headers. You can actually, and because this is done inside the envoys and doesn't have extra calls, it's actually very high performance. So then June comes around and it's not your developers that have a problem with somebody else's developers because there's a new CVE. So we need to protect against that. Well, instead of having to run around and see whether every single app is vulnerable, all we need to do is just insert a block at the at the Istio layer, and we can block this instantly. Sounds good. So you can do we've done these kinds of advanced filters. We've done this for path traversal attacks, injection attacks, and you can actually write custom things to do advanced blocking rules, and we've actually used this internally as well. And you get to go on vacation for 1 month, and nothing goes wrong. Hold on. So you come back, and the East Coast data center went down, and the CIO is now on your case saying, we cannot be in just one data center. We need actual redundancy. And so Istio supports Multicluster, where you can have multiple different clusters, different geographies, other reasons. In this example, you can see that we've got the front end is talking to, it thinks the back end, but the back end is split between multiple data centers. Of course, it could be completely remote. The front end doesn't care. You, of course, get all of the strong security policies and control. So you could actually send, if you wanted to, you don't even need a VPN to your other data center because it's encrypted over the wire and it's protected via strong rotated certificates. Everything that I was talking about, I kind of talked about from the perspective of containers, but your brownfield operator says, that all sounded great. I'd like to get that on my VMs. And it turns out, of course, you can do all of this. Everything that I just said, you can do on VMs as well. Right? It's pretty much all the same. Get an Envoy in your VM, you get all the benefits that we just talked about. So now this is your developer, and he's ready to deploy the new version of his application. And trust me, it's fine. It compiles. So let's be a little careful about how we deploy that. So of course, you can do Canary Deployments. We just had a whole nice talk about that. Where you have a traffic split, and you can have the new V2, and direct a small amount of traffic to that. There's lots of different modes for this. The last, now we're getting really advanced. Our production has gotten really complex. Now we have hundreds of services all running. We're starting to get, the CSO is starting to get a little worried about the complexity. We're getting containers from outside vendors. We'd like to get some advanced intrusion detection going on. Let's buy one of those Palo Alto Networks firewalls and ship that to AWS or GCP and have them install it. Wait, they don't take custom hardware? But we notice that there's this, Palo Alto Networks says they have this Istio integration. What's that about? So we actually feel like a big opportunity in Service Mesh and Istio is to have this ecosystem of different vendors that will allow powerful network level integrations. So last year, we actually at Google started this integration with WASM to allow incredibly high performance where you can have multi-language code embedded right in the Envoy to do microsecond level checks on things and potentially modifications. So I'm going to talk a teeny bit, like 3 slides, about Istio in general, its direction. This is a quote from Larry Wall. I like it. Easy things should be easy. Hard things should be possible. Istio has been really great at the second one, not so great at the first one. So we're working on it. I'm not going to go through all of these. These are features from 1.3 and 1.4. 1.4 got released last week. 1.3 was last quarter. But I'm going to talk about why. The first one was an ease of use feature. The second one was an ease of use feature. The third one was an ease of use feature. I think you're probably getting the idea. This is an ease of use feature. And the fourth one, ease of use feature. Oh, and it also improved performance. So if this is my last thing. If you look at the key takeaways I want you to get, I want you to understand the key use cases of this. I want you to understand that Istio is already used for these in production at many sites. And it's already very powerful. And we're trying to make it lots easier and faster. That's it.